In a quiet southern town, what was meant to be the happiest day of a young couple's life turned into a nightmare no one saw coming. 2 deaths. 1 wedding. And a family secret so twisted, it shattered everything. This is the story of jealousy, betrayal, and cold-blooded revenge, served in a glass of water. Zach and Emily were that kind of couple everyone admired. Deeply in love, inseparable, and planning a dream wedding that would bring both their families together. But what no one could have predicted was that this wedding, this celebration of love, would turn into a night of horror. Because both Zach and Emily would die on the night of their wedding. And not just die, they were killed in a way that's so strange, so chilling, it still makes headlines in the local news today. Stick around, because this story only gets darker from here. Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Big thanks to those of you who like, comment, or share these videos, it really helps more than you know. I read every single comment, and to those of you discovering this content for the first time. These stories are 100% real. If you love true crime, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now, let's get into today's story. We begin up north, in a quiet suburb just outside Portland, Maine. A well-off family lived in a beautiful 2-story home. The father, Richard, was a respected regional bank manager. The mother, Linda, held a senior position at a pharmaceutical company. They were successful, wealthy, and known in their community. Their daughter, Emily, was the pride of the family. A straight-A student, she had earned several business degrees after college, and in 2015, she landed a solid position at a major bank in Portland. Emily was smart, focused, and full of ambition. One morning, while working her shift at the bank, a young man stepped up to her window. His name was Zachary, 29 years old. Clean-cut, confident, well-dressed, he handed Emily a check for $100,000 and requested a deposit. As she examined the check, Emily looked up and felt a strange familiarity. She'd seen this man before. Somewhere. They had crossed paths, maybe a conversation at an event, or a passing moment. Either way, something clicked. Zach finished his transaction, then leaned in slightly and said, "Hey. I know this is forward, but can I get your number? I have a business idea I'd love to discuss with you." For some reason, she said yes. That message turned into another. Then phone calls. Then late-night texts. Within weeks, they were meeting up for coffee, going on walks, and spending more and more time together. After about 3 months, they were officially a couple. Zach told her about a car rental business he was starting. His father, a wealthy local businessman who owned several retail stores across Maine, had helped fund it. Zach had vision, he wanted to build something big. He wasn't reckless, though. He was focused. Disciplined. Emily saw something real in him. But then, suddenly, Zach stopped seeing her for about 10 days. He still called. Still messaged. But no physical meetings. Then one afternoon, he invited her out to a small lakeside cafe and sat her down. He didn't waste time. "Look, I'm not here to play around," he said. "I want a wife. I want a real life. If you're serious, I'll come meet your parents. I'll ask for your hand in person." That night, Emily told her mother everything. Linda's reaction? "All right, honey, we'll see what kind of man he is. If he's decent, respectful, and you two really get along, we'll talk." That meeting was just the beginning. The next morning, Emily called Zach with an answer. "I talked to my mom," she said. "She wants to meet you. Come over with your family. If everything goes well, we'll set a date." That weekend, Zach showed up at Emily's home with his parents and his younger sister. They brought lunch, just something simple. Sandwiches, drinks. The families sat down and talked. It didn't take long for both sides to feel at ease. Everyone got along surprisingly well. Both families were stable, well off, and shared the same values. By the end of the visit, they agreed. The engagement would happen in 3 weeks. And it did. 3 weeks later, in early summer, Zach and Emily held a beautiful engagement ceremony. Everyone was thrilled. Zach didn't want to wait. He already had a house. It was fully furnished, fully paid off, and he was financially ready. So he told Emily, "Let's not waste time. I want you with me. I want to start our life now." They picked a date right then and there. The wedding would take place on a Friday evening, just 2 weeks later. The big day came fast. The wedding was massive, held at a large event hall just outside the city. Hundreds of guests came. Friends, co-workers, extended family, everyone they knew was invited. People flew in from different states. It was elegant, classy, and filled with joy. At exactly 7:12 p.m., Emily and Zach made their grand entrance. Dressed like royalty, they walked into the hall to a standing ovation. Cameras flashing. Applause erupting. The perfect couple on the perfect night. But that perfection shattered in seconds. As Emily walked off the stage with Zach, she suddenly grabbed her stomach. She turned to her mother and said, "Something's wrong. My stomach, it really hurts." A chair was pulled for her. She sat down, and then vomited violently. Moments later, she passed out. Panic erupted. Before anyone could even react, Zach started groaning in pain, holding his gut and collapsing to the floor. Guests began murmuring, confused, scared. Is this food poisoning? Was it something in the catering? The music stopped. The celebration died. Someone called 911. The ambulance came quickly and rushed both Zach and Emily to the nearest hospital. By now, guests were panicking, checking their own stomachs, wondering if they'd also eaten something bad. The wedding turned into chaos. Guests were leaving. Families were crying. What was supposed to be the happiest night of their lives had become a medical emergency. But no one expected what happened next. Both Zach and Emily were declared dead before they even reached the ER. Doctors were stunned. The families? Crushed. They'd just witnessed their children collapse during their own wedding, and now, just an hour later, they were gone. The hospital staff immediately called the police. Detectives arrived and began asking questions. What had they eaten? Who prepared the food? Was it possible they had ingested something toxic? Emily's mother, barely able to speak through tears, told them everything, how fast it all happened, how her daughter had complained of stomach pain just minutes before. She described the scene in a daze, unable to comprehend what had occurred. But something didn't add up. If it was the food, why didn't anyone else get sick? By the next morning, a toxicology team had collected samples, but they'd need time. The police were already starting to suspect that this wasn't a simple case of food poisoning. This was something else. And 3 days later, the truth would come out. The coroner called the department with the results of the autopsy. Zach and Emily didn't die of spoiled food. They were poisoned, deliberately. The coroner's report hit like a bomb. Zach and Emily hadn't died from spoiled food. They were poisoned with a rare and lethal substance, a toxin so powerful that, once ingested, it could kill within 10 minutes. This wasn't something that made you sick slowly. This was instant death. And what made it worse? The poison had been mixed with a liquid, either water, soda, or juice. Something they drank. They never stood a chance. The wedding turned into a funeral. Both Zach and Emily were buried side by side just days after their wedding, their once joyful families now broken, in total disbelief. Whoever did this, didn't just kill two people. They destroyed two families. On the happiest night of their lives. Detectives knew they were dealing with something much darker than a tragic accident. This was a calculated, heartless murder. Someone had planned this. The investigation began immediately. One by one, detectives interviewed everyone who had been at the wedding. Over 60 guests were questioned, family, co-workers, the catering team, even the event staff. Everyone said the same thing. We don't know what happened. Everything was fine, until it wasn't. Investigators focused on those closest to the couple, especially their families. They created a short list of possible suspects. Someone from Zach's family. Someone from Emily's family. A friend. Or someone who had personal hatred or envy toward one of them. It seemed obvious at first, but none of it was easy to prove. The interviews led nowhere. Everyone was nervous, sure, but no one stood out. Most people seemed genuinely shocked and scared. Nothing felt out of place, until the detectives sat down again with Emily's mother, Linda. They asked her calmly. Is there anyone at all, you suspect? Anyone who might have had a reason to do something like this? Linda fell silent. They gave her time. Hours passed. And then, she came back with an answer. It's the makeup artist, she whispered. The girl who was doing Emily's hair and makeup that night. She was upstairs with them for a long time, longer than anyone else. Her name was Katie. She had been working with Emily and the bridal party all afternoon. She wasn't a stranger, she had worked with Linda's salon before. But something about her behavior stuck with Linda. She was too comfortable. Hanging around too long. Laughing too loud. I just felt something was off. Linda continued. You see this kind of thing. Jealous women. Girls who see other women doing well, getting married, landing great jobs, and they can't handle it. It eats them alive. Detectives nodded. They had seen this before. That twisted mixture of envy, bitterness, and deep insecurity, it can turn a person into a monster. The team brought in Katie and the rest of the bridal prep staff for a second round of questioning. The first time, they had only asked routine questions. But this time, it got serious. There were 4 women who had helped prepare the bride. All 4 were calm. Relaxed. But when the pressure started building, Katie began to crack. She got emotional. She cried. She stammered. I didn't do anything. I swear. I was just helping. I was just trying to make her look beautiful for her big day. But then Katie said something that changed everything. There was a moment. I left them alone. About 15 minutes before the ceremony. Emily asked me to go downstairs so she could talk to Zach privately. That moment, that window of time, was now the key to the entire case. Detectives were left with 2 possibilities. Katie had poisoned the drinks before she stepped out. Or someone else slipped something in while she was gone. The mystery was deepening, and someone in that room still knew the truth. Back at the sheriff's office, Tammy kept insisting she had nothing to do with it. Her story stayed the same, she'd only been gone for 15 minutes. That short window, just 15 minutes, became the investigators' new focus. If Tammy didn't do it, someone else had to have gone upstairs during that time, and poisoned Zeke and Lily. That poison had to be slipped into either their drinks or food, most likely the water or the punch. So now, the investigation zoomed back in on the wedding venue, specifically the banquet hall, the crime scene. The forensic team returned to collect every possible clue. They concentrated especially on the private dressing room upstairs, where Zeke and Lily were last seen alive. That's where Lily had gone to change, and Zeke had followed her. Inside the room, they found something odd, a silver tray with 2 empty glasses on it. The glasses looked clean, but under forensic light, faint droplets appeared. Those were sent to the lab to test for any toxins or foreign substances. The crime scene techs also collected Zeke and Lily's cell phones, any fingerprints, and the opened bottles in the room. But one small detail stood out to a senior investigator. It was subtle, but disturbing. There were 6 sealed water bottles neatly stacked on a nearby table. Not a single one had been opened. Yet Zeke and Lily had been drinking water. The 2 empty glasses clearly had water in them. That raised a chilling possibility. Someone brought them water from downstairs. Someone else, other than them, poured it. That's how the poison was delivered. And that someone had to be the killer. So now investigators had a new theory: Tammy might be telling the truth. Maybe while she and the bridesmaids went downstairs, someone else went up, offered Zeke and Lily a glass of water, and poisoned them. Still, it was all speculation, no hard proof yet. With no concrete evidence against Tammy or the other bridesmaids, the sheriff decided to release them, for now. But he wasn't letting this go. The team returned to the venue to speak to the owner of the hall. That's when they asked the question they surprisingly hadn't asked earlier. "Do you have any surveillance cameras here?" The owner nodded. "At first glance, you wouldn't notice them," he said. "They're hidden, installed discreetly in case anything ever goes wrong during events." Then he added something that made everyone freeze. The wedding was recorded. Everything that happened that night, every minute, is on video. He hadn't mentioned it earlier because he was out of town when the police came the first time. But now, he led them to a locked back room, opened a cabinet, and showed them the security system. High-resolution footage. Multiple angles. 24/7 recording. Everything was there. Detectives took the drives immediately and began reviewing the wedding night, frame by frame. Eventually, they spotted Zeke and Lily walking upstairs, with Tammy and the bridesmaids following. Then, exactly at 11:04 p.m., the footage showed Tammy and the girls coming back downstairs, leaving Zeke and Lily alone. So far, Tammy's story matched up. But then, for minutes later, something chilling appeared on the screen. A young woman emerged from a back hallway, one not used by guests. She was holding a tray with 2 glasses on it. She didn't use the main stairs. She snuck up through a service staircase meant for staff and deliveries. She moved nervously, glancing around, clutching the tray tight, and headed straight for the upstairs room. She wasn't one of the bridesmaids. She wasn't on the guest list. And no one remembered seeing her at the wedding. Who was this woman? And what did she give Zeke and Lily to drink? Inside the ladies' restroom, something happened. Something no one noticed at the time. When Shaima came out, her face was calm, eerily calm. She smiled, clapped along with the music, and sat back down like nothing had happened. But behind that facade, a storm was brewing. Investigators were closing in fast now. The wedding footage had become the key. So, the next logical step was to bring in the families, both of the bride and the groom. In the interrogation room, the detectives played the footage for Layla's aunt, hoping she might recognize the mysterious woman. As soon as she saw it, her expression shifted. "That's my niece. Her name's Shaima." She comes to our house all the time. She's close with Layla. Her words hit like a freight train. The investigators were stunned. They hadn't expected Shaima, sweet, quiet Shaima, to be connected so closely. That was it. They were sure now. Shaima wasn't just at the wedding, she was involved. Whether or not she had committed the crime, she was a central piece in this twisted puzzle. The detectives didn't confront her right away. Instead, they drove straight to her home. Her family said she wasn't there, but would be back soon. So, they waited 2 long hours. When she finally walked in, they greeted her with polite smiles. No handcuffs. No accusations. Just a friendly tone. Hey Shaima, we just wanted to follow up about the wedding day. We'd like you to come with us and answer a few more questions. Nothing big. Shaima agreed. She got into the patrol car quietly, wiping away tears. She was emotional, too emotional. Crying for Layla. Crying for Khalid. But something felt off to the detectives. Her grief, it looked rehearsed. Like she was putting on a show. They didn't stop her. They let her cry, let her shout, let her act out every emotion. But they knew something she didn't, they had footage. Real evidence. Once they got her back to the station, the tone changed. The questions got sharper. Then came the one that cracked it wide open. Shaima, did you go upstairs to see Layla before the ceremony? She froze. No. No, I stayed downstairs the whole time. I saw her when she came down. You're sure? Yeah. I never went up. But the detectives already had the footage cued. They played the video. There she was. Walking up the stairs. Clear as day. Shaima's mouth dropped open. She stared at the screen, stunned. She had no idea there were cameras. She had planned everything thinking no one would ever know. That's when she broke. Okay, she said quietly. I forgot. Yes, I did go up. Just for a second. I was happy, it was the wedding. I was just excited. But the detectives knew better. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was a cover-up. They kept pressing. Harder. Longer. Detective after detective rotated in, keeping her awake, wearing her down. Until finally, over 24 hours later, Shaima snapped. I'm tired, she whispered. I can't do this anymore. Then she said it. I killed her. The room went silent. I did it. Just me. No one else. Now came the details. She told them she brought the water. 2 glasses, on a silver tray. No one suspected a thing. But she had added a substance, something she had brought with her. She served it with a smile. Laughed. Chatted with them. Acted like everything was normal. Then she walked calmly to the bathroom and flushed the bottle down the toilet. I just wanted to be done with it, she said. The investigators asked the obvious question. But why? Why would you kill Layla and Khalid? And what she said next would reveal the twisted motive behind it all. I killed them, both of them. It was me. Just let me sleep, I'm tired. These were the exact words that cracked the case wide open. After more than 24 hours of non-stop interrogation, rotating officers, psychological tactics, silence, pressure, Shaima finally broke down. She confessed to the double murder of her cousin Layla and Layla's fiancé Khalid. But the question that haunted the investigators was why. So Shaima laid it all out. The real story. Her truth. Before Layla ever met Khalid, Shema was his fiancée. They'd been together for nearly a year, dating seriously, even planning a wedding. Khalid would visit her family, take her out regularly, and treat her like she was his future wife. But one day, something shifted. He ghosted her. Completely cut her off. What Shema didn't know at the time was that Khalid had discovered she was seeing someone else behind his back. When he confronted her, she denied it. But Khalid wasn't buying it. His heart was shattered, and his pride even more so. He ended things. Fast. And it didn't take long for Khalid to show up with someone new. That someone was Layla, Shema's own cousin. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. Shema acted chill, even told Layla it was fine if she dated Khalid. "I've moved on," she had said. But she hadn't. As the relationship between Khalid and Layla got serious, eventually leading to an engagement, Shema's heartbreak turned into hatred. She blamed Layla for everything. In her mind, Layla had stolen Khalid. She was the reason he broke off the engagement. She believed Layla had poisoned his mind, turned him against her, destroyed her future. And so, she planned revenge. Not a fight. Not public humiliation. She planned to kill them. July 8th. The day Layla and Khalid were supposed to start their new life together. Shema was there, pretending to be the supportive cousin. Laughing. Dancing. Congratulating the couple. She played her part like a professional actress. But hidden in her purse was a small vial of liquid poison, something she had been keeping for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. That moment came when she noticed Layla and Khalid alone in the upstairs bridal suite. Everyone else was downstairs. The music was loud. The attention was off them. She grabbed 2 glasses of water, added a drop of poison into each, walked up smiling, and said, "You two must be exhausted, going up and down all day. Here, hydrate." Moments later, she left the room. What followed was slow, tragic, and fatal. Shema thought the venue had no cameras upstairs. But she was wrong. The footage showed her entering the suite with 2 glasses and leaving shortly after. That was all the police needed. When confronted with the video during interrogation, her face went pale. She tried to lie, to say she had only gone to say hello. But eventually, the facade crumbled. At trial, Shema pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. Her motive, jealousy and betrayal. Her sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the end, what Shema believed to be a conspiracy between Layla and Khalid was just coincidence. A normal love story. Nothing more. But for her, it was unforgivable. And for that, she'll spend the rest of her life behind bars. That's the end of today's case. What do you think? Did Shema get the justice she deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, stay safe, and stay curious. See you in the next one.